Hột gà nướng, hột vịt lộn, hột vịt sữa, trứng cút lộn, mất xào đây. Mất xào đây.
Thanks for listening to part 2 of episode 6 with Angee the Diva. In the previous episode, we talked about Angee being a comedian with kids, what it's like to be a mother, and make jokes about that. So I hope you enjoyed that episode if you listened to it. If you haven't, feel free to go back, or you can continue listening. That's all right. Part 2 coming up now. We're going to talk about comedy, sex, and sexuality. Enjoy.
Hột vịt lộn, hột vịt sữa, trứng cút lộn, mất xào đây.
So, how has that, what made you decide to make that part of your act? And then how has that affected, kind of like personal relationships, things like that? Because again, that offstage persona, onstage persona, does that affect that? Because people expect one thing that you've described on stage and then...
My onstage persona, first of all, my onstage persona is not that far removed from my real life persona. It's not. I definitely do not tell my children I hate them to their face. That would be bad, Avi. No, my kids know I love them, and I do not at all let my kids listen to my comedy at all. I do not want to scar them for life.
But what about when they're older and they maybe
when they're older, it will happen, and you know what? They'll be adults, and we'll be having a conversation about why you should wait to have kids for a while because you caused this. Yeah, I mean, they will eventually hear it, but I hope that my kids know and understand that I love them, and it's just jokes. My son, actually, I think he might be a comedian one day. His comedic timing is ridiculous. He understands sarcasm, and he has since a very, very young age. So he's a prankster, and he's hilarious. I could totally see him doing it.
I think the ultimate will be when he starts to do jokes about his mum.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, oh my
Full circle.
God.
I forgot what the question was.
The question was about sex.
Oh, okay.
So you described yourself as a pansexual and non-monogamous. And recently we had a conversation at a show a while ago, and you described yourself to me as queer. And I feel like the way you said it, I thought you maybe were like recently came out as queer, or is that something that's always been the case?
So, on stage and off stage, not that different. Of course, my onstage persona is a bit more dramatic, and a bit more embellished than my day-to-day persona. But they're really not that different. So a lot of the sex stories actually are true.
And see, this is what people believe, that there are stories.
They are. They are slightly embellished as well, but they're all rooted in truth. So that happens. And as a comedian, I do a lot of things. I put myself in a lot of situations for the story. So that's kind of a casualty of dating me.
Does that make you vulnerable off stage? Because I saw another comedian who also talks a lot about sex on stage, and then she posted something where there was somebody who heard her on stage, got a bit too familiar, a bit too handsy, because I think he thought he could do that because of the way she'd spoken on stage. Have you ever had that happen to you?
My onstage persona gets me laid a lot. I'm not sad about that. Being a female, you have... As a woman, you're in a position, generally, of, unfortunately, being subject to the patriarchy. Period. We have an existence where still men can do and say things that are inappropriate in isolation. But because I've said something on stage, or because I've worn something, they somehow in their mind can justify treating me like less than a human. That happens, period. What I do with that is up to me. Now, I could get angry with them, and sometimes I do.
What would be an example?
Black girl fetish. As a Black girl in Asia, I am a unicorn. There are not a lot of us around. And I encounter a lot of guys who are, oh my God, I've never slept with a Black girl before.
That really happened. I kind of like see
that happens.
Read this stuff on the internet, and they really say that.
They really do. They really
and
do.
That's like a pickup line. Like they expect you to then be like, oh, okay, I'll be that girl then.
I have no idea what they expect. That has never been my reaction. So I deal with that. The worst it's ever been though. A guy clearly with a Black girl fetish, he was saying things, and I was like, you know what, guy, you don't need to say that. It's really weird. It's kind of off-putting. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're ignorant. Maybe you've never experienced Black people before. Whatever. Let's not. And then he goes on, and his next comment is, I'm really into history, and I wonder if your family were house or field Negroes.
What?
Like, where do we go from there? How did you expect this conversation to end? So that is something that...
How did you react to that?
It was on Tinder. I just blocked him, and
it wasn't in person.
Actually, I screenshotted it and I put it on the female expat page.
Right.
To warn other people that this was going on, and actually kind of hoping that somebody might have known him.
Yeah. Feedback to him.
Yeah. But it's something that you have to deal with, and when I get on stage and I say things, I know that it's not going to agree with everyone. I'm okay with that. I don't need everyone to like me. But as a person, as a human, as a woman, as Angee, you will respect me. And when I get off of stage, you can say whatever you want to, but you need to be prepared for whatever I'm going to say in response. If you are a gross and skeevy guy and you want to say some gross and skeevy thing to me when I get off of stage, if I'm in a mood, it may not end well for you. But that's my own power. And it has nothing to do with my onstage or offstage persona. Or my onstage persona. It has everything to do with my offstage persona. I am strong and I'm powerful, and I do not have to take your crap. I don't have to listen to you talk to me anyway. And that has nothing, that part of it, the grossness of humans sometimes has nothing to do with what I say on stage. It has nothing to do with what I wear or, where I'm from or anything. It has to do with a lack of education and complete ignorance, unfortunately still in the vast majority of cultures around the world, that men in a lot of places think that women are just objects for their pleasure, and you can say and do whatever you want with them, and it's not okay. And on the other hand, if I am a highly sexual being, and I'm not a whore because I want to entertain some of the guys or whatever. I don't have to be your wife, and we don't have to be in a relationship for me to get my rocks off. And you can go home after. Thank you very much.
So I'm a bit old-fashioned. I can't keep up with all these terms. What does pansexual mean?
So I am a female biologically. I identify as female. I am attracted to people. It does not matter if you identify as male or female or cisgendered or non-binary, or if you are a drag queen or you're trans or however you identify, I can still be attracted to you. And I don't care about what label or box you want to be in.
Right. And this is, I feel like at 37 now, I feel there's a generational line being drawn. I feel like because I just grew up in like a different era to currently.
I'm going to be 36. So I don't think it's so much generational line. I think it is evolving definitions.
But I didn't grow up with all of these.
I didn't either.
Well, no, I know. So you didn't either, being the same age. And so now that these things are a thing, I feel almost like when my grandparents would have been younger, like being homophobic would have been completely normal. And then at some point, we realized that that's not okay, and it changed. And I feel like I'm on that line now. Not that I'm phobic to any of these people, but I grew up in a binary world.
Yeah.
And now suddenly it's like, wait, well, okay, there's non-binary, and then there's pansexual, and this and that. I mean, even then it was like homosexual, and then bisexual, and then now it's this whole spectrum. And so that just makes me feel old, but I need to evolve with that and start understand that more.
It is a point of understanding. The pansexual thing actually as an identity is new for me. I did generally identify as bisexual for my whole adult life. I think I realized that I liked women first. And then as I grew older and, hit puberty and everything, I was like, okay, well, it's more normal to like men, which I don't dislike. They're fine. But like going through college, I identified as bisexual. But I didn't like the fetishization of that. When I did it because most people know what bisexual means, and it stopped the question. Right? You say you're bisexual, and they're like, oh, okay. As a female, I can say that, and it's like, oh, okay. As a male, being bisexual, that's a whole different thing. But as I grew and as I allowed myself to be more open, I found that I was attracted to other people. And because I came in contact with these people. And then you start to think, well, what does that mean? What does that make me? Am I bisexual if this person doesn't identify as a binary individual? What is that then? Like, am I gay? Am I straight? Where is it going? So a friend of mine, she identified as pansexual, and she, told me about it, and then I did some research on my own, and I was like, okay, that's a new word, but I can use that as well. And it is gaining traction, and I do, part of my, I guess, like, evolving mission is to draw more awareness to the spectrum of queer. So a lot of people in our generation and older do think of people as just gay or straight. There isn't really any in between. And then bisexual is like, oh, okay, but you're confused, right? Like or you're greedy. You just want all the stuff. So I think it's really important for me to be out and visible, because I do represent a demographic that is not often represented in the queer community, or not in the queer community, but in the media as far as what queer is. It's not represented very often.
What is the definition of queer? See, this is, I feel old-fashioned because I don't even fully understand.
I think, in my opinion, and queer is like that term that sort of floats around. In my opinion, queer is the sort of umbrella term for all of the alphabet letter people, right? We have the LGBTQ.
And what's the I? What's that?
I don't know.
You don't know? See, I feel so stupid asking these questions, but I saw it come up, I think today or yesterday, there was another, LBG.
Yeah.
AI, I think. Was there an A in there?
LGBTQ,
Where's the P? The P's not in there. And then there's a plus at the end. Why is there a plus at the end?
I have no idea. Yeah. But queer sort of encompasses all of those people. So it's sort of the like umbrella term for that. And it's also a term that that you can say that you are without specifically identifying where on that spectrum you are. And so it leaves a bit of wiggle room for people who are evolving, and you're not comfortable saying I am this right now, or a lot of people that I know within the community have evolved. They have changed. They were into this at one point and now they're into something else. And so it allows you that flexibility to say, I'm a human who's evolving and changing and exploring who I am. And I really feel sad for straight people because like they oftentimes don't allow themselves the flexibility to explore those things. I mean, pleasure is something that's like a drug to me often. You do get that sort of euphoric feeling about things, about that experience. And I can't imagine not allowing myself to experience so many things just because I've sort of caged myself into a box of this is who I am.
Well, I was talking to a friend recently. We were having lunch, and he shared that he was queer, and I didn't know that. And it's funny because, like, so it's a spectrum, right? And we accept that. I am straight, and I'm on the far end of that spectrum. And it feels weird, though, to say that, like, to be like, it almost feels like I'm the strange person now, because I'm like, I'm on that end. And I'm not saying that's good, bad, indifferent, whatever. It's just weird to be like, I'm on an extreme end of that, you know, when there's a whole spectrum.
I kind of think of it as like when kids, when you're trying to introduce new vegetables to kids and they see the broccoli and they're like, I don't like broccoli. And it's like, but you've never tried broccoli. How do you know you don't like broccoli? Like, I don't like it because it's green. And it's like I get it.
So
you're like a dude and you're like, I don't like dicks.
I need to try some eggplant. Is that what you're saying? I do like eggplant, but the vegetable.
That's going to get cut.
we'll keep that in. It's just, I feel like, 37, there's a whole generation that's changing, the world's changing. None of this existed when we were growing up.
Yeah.
It was, well, interesting, right? Talking about queer was a derogatory word.
Right.
And now that's, I guess, been reclaimed, which is
right.
great that, people...
It's just all... It's all about growth. It's all... whether you identify as queer or straight or gay or straight or, whatever label, I think all people need to allow themselves the room to grow. What you're into right now, you're not going to be into in 10 years from now. Even in a straight monogamous relationship, you have to evolve as a couple. You have to evolve as individual people in order for you to stay happy and together. I think the statistic on it, generally a career is about 10 years, about 7 to 10 years, which is the same for marriage. About 7 to 10 years, you start to feel like, I need to grow and change something. I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. Something needs to happen differently. And, really strong and great couples, they learn how to have their individuality and also develop together. But people who stop doing that, that's where you find divorce. It's like, I expect you to be this person that we were when we married 10 years ago. And like, who is the same as they were 10 years ago? Like, who does that? Like, 10 years ago, I was 26. I had a newborn and a 2-year-old. And I was the lady walking around the grocery store with the vomit on her shirt. And now I'm
Angee the Diva?
I'm Angee the Diva. I'm living in Saigon. I'm going to all of these fabulous events and I'm getting paid to stand up on stage and say crazy stuff. Like, not at all the same person. And to expect people to stay the same is wrong, in my opinion. It's wrong. And it just shows your lack of willingness to grow yourself, to accommodate those changes. So I'm not saying like as a queer person and on the queer agenda that I want everybody to be queer. That's not a thing. But I think that you should be open to exploring new things and different things, and that you and your partner should be strong enough to explore those things together, whatever they may be for you. Everybody has their boundaries, and I'm not saying that you need to put eggplants where eggplants shouldn't be for you. That's fine. But I do think that to think that your way of being is the standard for everyone else, that's asinine.
And then why non-monogamous? You'd never be in a monogamous relationship again?
I will never.
Wow.
I will never. And to be fair, when I was married, it wasn't exactly monogamous either. It's just never been my thing. I'm not a jealous person. I don't like to be like tied down and caged in. I don't want to be, as much as I love attention, I like attention from lots of people. I don't want it from one singular person who thinks that I need to be their like everything. Like, you know, not jokingly, you have to be happy with yourself. You have to be content with yourself. You have to have your own goals and ambitions and know what you want to do in life for yourself. And then when you meet someone who complements that, then that's a really nice and loving and reciprocal relationship. But you're still both free to grow in your own way. And I think, me personally, I find it very difficult to get everything that I need conversationally, emotionally, physically, you know, and any of those LY words. I find it very hard to get that from one person. And I think that it is wrong. I think that it's unfair to ask of all of that from one person. I guess what I'm saying is, like, you know how you have two best friends. You can have two best friends. Or you can have 3 kids or 4 kids or 5 kids. You can work 2 different jobs, and you can apply your attention to those equally but in different ways. You can do the same in relationship. And if that's for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think there'll be people who don't believe that, but as long as the 2 people are together and don't believe that,
right,
then that's fine,
right? Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different needs. And my needs are not the same as somebody who's in a very consensual and happy monogamous relationship. It's just not my thing. And like, more power to you. I think you and Adri are the cutest couple I've ever seen in my life. Like, you guys are so cute, and you clearly want to spend your time together, and you're very supportive, and like, you know, she gives you crap and you give it back, and like, it's so cute. And like, why not? But that's just not my deal.
Yeah.
Like, I like to sleep in my bed by myself sometimes, and I like to taste the rainbow of things.
Well, just quickly, because we have talked about it a lot, so we don't need to go into too much detail, but on previous episodes, we've talked about the LGBTQIA XYZ community. For you, how is that in Saigon? Because I think that's been quite surprising to me and maybe some of our listeners, and that it is a really good community here, right?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I am a part of a beautiful community with people on the whole entire spectrum of the whole alphabet people.
You call yourselves that, the alphabet people?
I call them that. I coined that phrase. I'm trademarking it. Alphabet people. It just sounds less offensive than LGBTQI.
It's a bit easier. It's such a mouth. Like, your mouth has to move so much for LGBTQ.
I don't know if I can put that on a t-shirt and trademark it and sell it, but I'm coining it the alphabet people. The community in Saigon is beautiful. It's very inclusive. People on the whole entire spectrum come together and do things together. ICS is a fantastic community outreach program organization. They do a lot with the Vietnamese community as far as like education and providing opportunities for people to come together in safe spaces. Gender Funk has been integral in my experience here. Gender Funk started about the same time that I got started with Saigon Funny People. So the founder of that, Ricardo and I are pretty close. We have similar.
He's going to be on this season.
Oh yes!
Yeah, I'm trying to work out a date.
Ricardo is an amazing human who has done so much for the queer community in Saigon, creating inclusive spaces that are not just for queer people, but also draw in straight people, which helps to dispel a lot of those stereotypes and phobias about what queer people are, who queer people are.
Because I want to go to Gender Funk, but I feel like, so am I going to be the awkward straight person there?
No.
Like, I mean, I'm not any phobic, but I still feel like I'm going to be like just this fucking.
Not at all.
I feel like I'm just going to be this like awkward person. Like, I don't know what to do, what to look like. I've been at a gay bar before and things like that, but I think again, this is going back. I'm a bit older, and so it was a gay bar. It wasn't an LGBTQI event. So it's just like another step, you know? Like, I feel like I'm going to be super awkward when I go.
First of all, no one's going to try to fuck you there.
No, not that. Do you know what I did? I looked up the Gender Funk Facebook page to see what people were wearing, because I was like, do I need to dress flamboyantly?
Mm-hmm.
And then luckily I saw just people dressed normally. I was like, okay, I can just go dressed normally. I thought like I had to get dressed up for it, you know, because I know obviously some people do. So I will be there. I do want to go soon, but when you see me awkwardly standing there, come talk to me.
I will come and talk to you. Gender Funk is doing something I think is very innovative in that, I don't know, innovative, but inclusive, radically inclusive, maybe. Because they make events that are fun, period. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, they are fun. And the performances are polished and of high quality, and the performers, in fact, are very inclusive. So they are drag queens, which are men who identify as men in most of their life, but dress like women sometimes. Trans women who are people who were born quote unquote biologically male, but identify as female. Bio queens, which are women who are biological women and identify as female, but dress up as drag queens. Because drag is an art form, right? It's the makeup, it's the hair, it's the drama, it's the performance and all of that. So and Gender Funk has also had straight male drag, which are men who are biological men and only sleep with women and dress up as female in drag. So the performers are inclusive and on a spectrum. The audience is on a full spectrum. But the thing that is the most fantastic about Gender Funk parties and events is their tagline: "You do you." So no matter where you are on the spectrum, no matter what you're into, no matter what your kinks or your fetishes or how you identify or whatever, this is a safe space for you to express yourself how you want to. If you want to dress up, fine, do it. If you don't, also okay. If you
want to be an awkward straight white guy, you can be an awkward. That would be me.
You can. But it's consensual completely. It's very respectful. No one is going to force you to do something that you don't want to do. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I think it's one of the amazing things about Saigon, and I think mostly through the podcast I've learned that it's something that most people wouldn't expect, right? You think of Vietnam in whatever way, the war, for most people if they're out with the country, they think about it being a poor country. They don't think about it being particularly probably like the most LGBTQ friendly community, and here in Saigon, definitely it is. So it's a testament to Saigon, right?
Yeah, Saigon. In my mind, Saigon is like in this time warp of space and time. Like, for me, it has been a mixture of people and places and events and opportunities that are just growing, like just bubbling at the surface, and they have the potential to be amazing. And to be on the ground level of that and see people grow over the last 2 years and to see their potential of where they can be, and the city on a whole is like that. Like, the construction is just like, every time I leave here, I come back and I'm just like, where is this whole neighborhood come from? What is going on right now? The whole city is like that. It's just growing, and there's so much potential, and there's so much passion within individuals to do something and make something. And thankfully, the country itself is not very restrictive on allowing you to do that. Saigon is a very special place in that if you have the ambition and the willpower to do whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it here.
So we're going to finish up now at this point with the same questions that I ask everybody. So the first question is, what bike do you drive and how do you deal with the Saigon traffic?
I drive a Honda something or other. I have no idea what it is. I am that person who has rented a bike for 3 years.
What?
Yes.
Throwing money away?
I don't know that it's throwing money away. I think about it as my insurance policy because I've changed my bike probably 4 times. Whenever I get a flat tire or the oil needs to be changed or anything needs to happen with the bike, I don't have to deal with it at all. And that is the convenience that I pay for.
Do you know how easy it is to do that stuff?
I'm fine. I'm okay with it.
It's $1 million a month, right?
I feel like it is $1 million a month. I feel like it's stimulating the economy in some way. Also, I really like that every time I go see my bike guy, he's standing out there with a smile and his shirt off. And he looks really cute. It's fine. I'm here for it.
All right. Well,
Saigon traffic.
It's my Scottishness coming through where I'm like, you can't spend money like that.
I am A-okay with paying for the convenience of living in Vietnam. I love it. Like, it's a perk for me. When I go into people's apartments and they don't have a maid, I'm just like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time in Saigon. Like, it is one of the best parts about living here. So I do pay for that convenience. And Saigon traffic, I deal with it with my headphones on, and I drive through traffic singing loudly and waving to the people near me. And sometimes I get really frustrated with the fact that Saigon traffic does not work like anywhere else on the planet. And recently, I've been yelling at people in traffic. I've just been like, wait your turn! It's traffic right now because no one wants to wait their turn. Everybody can't go all at the same time. If you just observe the red light, just a little, we can all get there in a timely fashion. You are saving 3 seconds sometimes by shooting ahead of traffic, but most often you are wasting 10 minutes of my life causing this traffic jam because you just wouldn't wait your freaking turn.
There was a guy yesterday that dangerously undertook us, sped by us. I was like, whoa. He was pulling in 10 meters ahead. Why did you need to do that? You could have just waited.
Yeah. I have this theory that Asians are not bad drivers, but that their system is so unlike any Western country, we don't understand it. To be fair, I very rarely see an accident in Saigon, like a bad one.
Incredible. I don't know how it's not carnage on every corner.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fantastic drivers. It's just, it's insane.
It's chaos.
I've heard that India is the only country that's crazier than Vietnam. I've not been, but that's what someone told me.
I learned to drive in Bali, which was also chaos. But the guy who I rented my first bike from told me maybe the most profound thing I've ever heard. He said it's like a school of fish. Stay in the middle of the school and you'll be fine.
That's good advice. I like that one. And what is the oddest thing you've seen on a bike?
I've seen some pretty crazy stuff on a bike. Like really crazy stuff. Maybe the guys who carry like the popcorn and bags of chips and things, and they stack them up so high, and like it's really like like an 18-wheeler truck length wide, and they just zip through traffic with all of that stuff on their bike. It's amazing.
And it must weigh like nothing because it's all air, right? But it's
so like just the visual of it is ridiculous. Like, how do you have all these things stacked on? I mean, besides like the 6-person family on one motorbike. 6-person family on one motorbike is
that's standard.
Astounding to me.
That's
like,
standard, right?
It's just like, wow. I also like the guys who carry the fish, because I think that's really heavy, actually, with the water and everything in the bags, and they carry, you know, all these goldfish and it's stacked so high. The most dangerous thing I think I've seen, and maybe this is just my American sensibilities, are the guys who carry around the propane tanks, like dragging them behind their bikes.
It's Adri's worst nightmare. Yeah, she's terrified when she sees them.
It could blow up at any moment.
I think that has happened. Yeah, I think it happened a couple of years ago. Someone drove into the back of one and it went up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if we see one of them and we're on the bike together, Adri's like, go round him, past him, past him. Yeah. So you got 24 hours, no kids, no comedy, no event planning, no nothing. What do you do with 24 hours in Saigon?
First, I pinch myself because it does not happen. It's a dream. I would sleep probably half of the time, like solid 12 sleep with the aid of Xanax. And then I would get up, and I like to find green spaces in Saigon. There's a really nice park, which I cannot remember the name of it. In District 10, there's Bin Qua. Bin Qua. It's like on the river, and it's like nice trees and green, and it's quiet. I think they have like buffet dinners or something there, but during the day, it's just a lovely place to walk around and get outside of the city. It's maybe 20 minutes outside of D2, so it's not really that far of a drive. I do that, and because I'm in the nightlife so often, I probably would avoid that situation. I would go to dinner by myself with no one that I knew in a restaurant that no one knows me. No one's asking to like talk to me or take pictures. I would have a glass or two of wine, but not be drunk, because that's fun sometimes. And I would, I'd probably have sex because, you know, it's a day off. Why not? I would be very boring. I think I would do something very, very boring with 24 hours off in Saigon, because my general day-to-day life is pretty exciting. I think it's so different than what most people are doing. I'm out all the time. I'm always going to new venues and bars and clubs and restaurants and things. And I have to meet people all the time. I always have to be on. I'm very rarely out in Saigon without a face of makeup and, you know, a look. So, yeah, I'd probably try to be really inconspicuous and boring.
Fair enough. But now you have a week off to explore Vietnam. Where would you go in Vietnam?
Hanoi. I've never been to Hanoi.
Wait, what?
I've never been to Hanoi. In the 3 years that I've been in Saigon, in Vietnam, I have never been to Hanoi. I've been to Phu Quoc, I've been to Da Nang and Hoi An, and I've just to Central, but I have not been to Hanoi. So I would go to Hanoi as long as the week was not during this time of year when it's cold and rainy. Because I do not deal with cold at all. At all. Anything below 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I don't even know what that is in Celsius. I know it's still hot for most people. I cannot deal with cold at all. I'm allergic to cold. if I get cold, I get hives, I get itchy, I get welts and red, and it's very, very uncomfortable for me. I've read recently that I could actually go into anaphylactic shock. I'm actually literally allergic to cold.
So you never go to Scotland then?
I'd never.
No.
Never.
And would you go up to like Hazang and Sapa and things like that? Or are you going to spend a week in Hanoi?
Definitely. No, I would want to do Sapa and where's the place with the big like island? Halong Bay. Yeah, I'd want to do the whole North Park because I haven't done it yet.
You should do that. Definitely. I feel like you're probably maybe the best person to answer this question. Do you have a hidden gem in Saigon that you can share?
I have tons of hidden gems in Saigon.
Because then if you share them all, they're not hidden.
It is my thing. I will share one with you, and then I will tell you where you can find more of them. Probably my favorite place in Saigon, and this may be due to my lifestyle, is Opera Tea Club. It's on Li Tu Chung, kind of near Heart of Darkness. And it is a nap cafe. So it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. They have comfortable like lounge chairs. They have tons of pillows everywhere. And they have a stack of pillows by the door if you need some extra ones. There are some booths. The lights are always really low. The music is kind of like lullaby. You can go there and work. I used to, when I was a freelance writer, I would go there overnight and I would write. And then when I get tired, I'd take a little nap. And then I'd wake up and write a little bit more and take a nap. And the coffee and teas and things, they do pots of tea. So I'd have a ginger tea waiting for me when I woke up. And they only charge you $25,000, I believe, if you just go there and take a nap. And you can sleep there for 4 hours.
Never heard of this place.
Yes!
There you go.
Opera Tea Club. It is one of my favorite places. So if you are a partier like I am, sometimes you get tired and you just need a nap, like real quick. I go there, I have a little nap, and then I get back to my party. And it's fine.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the questions. And so what's next for you? What's happening?
So I run Saigon Funny People, which is a comedy group in Saigon. We have open mic every single Monday for anything that you want to do. You can come out and express yourself. We'll give you some time there. We also have 2 shows a month at Bon Bar on Don Khoi. And that's an all-female show. And then a raw comedy show where you can hear me talk crazy stuff about my kids and judge me. And then I'm an event planner, so we have a lot of parties and things around. But you can just follow Saigon Funny People on Instagram or Facebook to keep up to date with all of that stuff. One project that I am very excited about that we've got starting up is Asia Out Loud, which is going to be our new social media channel. It's with myself and J.K. Hobson, which is another comedian. You guys should go listen to his episode on 7 Million Bikes because it was cool too. And then a photographer, Merv Lee. And we're trying to showcase really cool and interesting spots, secret locations, interesting people, and the stories behind the things that they do in Saigon and in Asia on a whole. So if you're wondering, like, where can I go to find, cool stuff to do, or where can I go and find, like, yummy food to eat, and where is a place that I can spend my money responsibly with a cause, and check out Asia Out Loud. Look out for that, please.
Awesome. And what's your plans for your career in terms of comedy, event planning? Where do you see yourself going with that?
I think I will always have a home in Saigon. I love this city so much. I don't see myself leaving permanently, like, ever. But I travel a lot for comedy right now, and that's the goal. I've got an African tour coming up, and I'm going to be in Australia next year as well. So I definitely want to see where that goes. I want to continue to build the scene up here in Saigon. I'm really committed to offering stage time for up-and-comers and underground people. I'm really excited to see where the city goes in a couple of years, and I'm really happy to be a part of that. But yeah, I just want to make like oodles of cash, and I want my new significant other partner, one of them at least, to have way more oodles of cash than I do. I want to see my kids grow up and be happy and excited about their passions in life and making, good livings with that. And I just want to see the world. I want to travel around and see different things and spend my money on stuff that rich people spend their money on.
And when are you going to see your kids, Nick?
I will see them in a couple of months, and then they're going to come and spend the summer with me wherever I am. Summers in Saigon, as most of you probably know, are pretty dead here. There's not a whole lot going on in the summer. A lot of the teachers go away and go to their families and stuff. So a lot of us travel in the summertime. So I think I'll probably take them to Sri Lanka. We really want to go to India, but my son likes to put absolutely anything in his mouth, even at almost 10 years old. So I'm a bit scared about that. But I've heard Sri Lanka is like India light. So I think we might try that. But yeah, just travel a bit with them and let them maybe make some family-friendly events on the other side and just, have fun with them.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Angee. I'm glad we got to talk to you behind the off-stage persona because, as we kind of talked about in this episode, I don't think many people realize that there is a difference.
Yeah. Just anybody who's on stage, any celebrity or, persona, we're all still people. We're multifaceted. We have our childhood traumas and our experiences and everything that make us who we are. And I think it's very easy to see somebody on stage and see them as a one-dimensional person. So I really appreciate the opportunity to express other facets of myself. And I hope that people listening will realize that everyone is like that. Everybody's got a story to tell. And if you want to know more about me, you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can come and find me anywhere in Saigon. I am out and about all of the time, almost every single day of the week. Come and say hi and have a chat, and I will try to remember your name, I promise.
And just don't touch your hair.
Do not touch my hair at all, or I might do some weird stuff to your shirt.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and I hope you can tune in for further episodes, and I hope you enjoyed that. Cheers. Thanks for listening to part 2 of episode 6 with Angee the Diva. A massive thank you to Angee for being an amazing guest. I'm sure you enjoyed that as much as I did. And if you haven't listened to part 1 already, go back and listen to it. If you haven't listened to previous episodes, go back and listen to them. You can get them on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, pretty much anywhere that you can get podcasts, you'll be able to find 7 Million Bikes, a Saigon podcast. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you can tune in for future episodes as well. If you want to send me a message, you can get me at 7millionbikes@gmail.com or go to the Facebook page. Give me a like, give me a message, leave a review if you can. That would be super, super helpful as well. And it's always great to hear from people. So thank you for listening. Thank you, as always, to Lewis Wright for composing the theme music for 7 Million Bikes, and also to Len Wynn for helping me design the cover art that you can see everywhere. So thanks again. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoy future episodes. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease, and I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.